reports, and also get a I guess an overview of your business, how your business is travelling, and where you can possibly improve as well. So the next main area that we'll see in the Business Centre is the payments area. So you can see we've got a few different payment solutions through the Business Centre. Most of these solutions also have an API connection as well, so you can actually access them through your own website. Recurring Payments has a web service API. Stored Payments can be accessed via XML or a shared page. Token Payments has a web service API, and Pre-Auth Payments has a XML solution as well. So we'll concentrate mainly on the manual transactions and batch payments for today. Now, manual transactions are also known as MOTO transactions, or mail order or telephone order transactions. What this area allows you to do is collect any payment that didn't get put through your website. So you might have a customer who can't or doesn't want to put their details through your website. Your website might be having issues, a whole raft of reasons why you can't process a payment through your website. What you can do is process any telephone orders, mail orders, fax orders, even face-to-face orders through this page. So as you can see, we've got a simple payment form. All you need to do is enter the customer's details, so card holder's name, the card number, valid expiry date, CVN number on the back of the card, and an amount. So let's say we'll do $10. Now, once again, you can actually enter more information about your customer, and I always encourage people to enter as much information as possible because it makes it easier to go and find them later on. Also gives you a lot more information about your customer as well, but it's not required. So these are the required fields here. These fields here, yes, you can use them, but you don't have to. So we'll process this transaction, click confirm, and we've got a successful result. So it's gone through for $10, and as you can see, we've got back the result 00 approved from the bank. If we go back to the reports now, we should actually see that transaction that we just processed. So there we go. See, there's the transaction we just processed. So all the reporting is done in real time. So as soon as you process the transaction, it will show up in your reports. So like I said, the manual transaction, it's a really good catch-all. It means that you're not going to miss out on payments that don't go through your website. You might have other parts of your business that you want to carry or want to process payments without using the website. So it's a really good, good catch-all, good alternative to your online payments. Now, batch payments is the other one we'll look at today. This is where you can upload multiple transactions into one file. So you might have 100 transactions that you need to process through the manual transactions. Rather than having to type them in one by one individually, which will take you a long, long time, you can actually upload a bulk batch payment file in the one go, and we'll then go through each transaction in that file and process them one by one. So if you have multiple transactions to process, use the batch payments, it's a lot quicker. So if we have a look at the sample file, so you can see it's got all the details we need for the transaction, card number, the amount, etc., etc. So the system will go through each transaction one by one and process them individually. So that's a real time saver. Like I said, there's quite a few other payment solutions you can access through the Business Centre. Most of them do have a web API, so you can actually process through your own website. I won't go into them in too much detail. Recurring Payments is all about setting up customers for ongoing transactions. So you might have a membership model or a subscription model where you want to bill your customers on a regular basis. Through the Recurring Payments, you can set them up to be billed automatically when you determine. So you might want to charge them on the first of the month for $10, rather than you or the customer having to come back each month to re-enter the credit card details. Simply set them up with a payment schedule, and the system will automatically bill them each month for that amount. Stored Payments is where you can enter customer details and card details for a payment, but process it at a later date. So you might want to take details but not process until the goods have arrived, or or you know that the funds are going to be available on the credit card, so you can store the payment until you're ready to process it. Token payments is really the next stage of stored payments, where you're storing the customer's details for ongoing transactions that you want to process. So you can store the details every time that the customer comes back to do a transaction. You don't need to ask them for their credit card details again. We've already got them stored on our system, and you can process any amount against that card. Finally, pre-auth payments is where you check if there's funds on the credit card and reserve those funds, and then at a later time you can come back and capture those funds. Now we'll quickly go through some of the other areas in the Business Centre. So My Account is where you can set up all the information about accessing your Business Centre and your eWAY account. So you can modify your profile, passwords, view invoices and pay invoices if there's anything outstanding, view your current pricing plan with eWAY, and also access a few extra features. I'll just focus on user security. So what this allows you to do is set up multiple users to access your Business Centre. You might have people working within your company who need to access the Business Centre as well, so you can set them up with a unique username and password. You can also restrict access for those users based on what you want them to see and what you don't want them to see. So you might have someone who just needs to process payments, let's say a call centre person. So the only thing they will see is the payment section. They won't see reports, they won't see any settings. You might have someone, say a bookkeeper, who you want to have a look at the reports, but you don't want them going anywhere near the payment section, so they can be restricted to only view the reporting area and no other areas. So that's a really good way to give important people in your business access, but also manage what access they actually can obtain. The iPhone, iPad access, we do have an iPhone application which is free from the App Store online. This allows you to process transactions directly through your iPhone. So if you're on the run or doing deliveries, you can actually process transactions manually through your iPhone without having to write down credit card numbers and process them later when you're back in the office. So that's a handy little feature. If you've got an iPad, you've got an eWAY account, it's not a bad idea to set that up. So that's a nice one to play around with. The next area is the settings. So this is more ways to control your eWAY account and what goes through your eWAY account. So you can set up email receipts, either turn them on or off. You can set up your Beagle rules. So if you've got Beagle turned on for anti-fraud purposes, you can control what goes through your account. You can activate American Express and Diners Club if you've got merchant accounts with either of those card schemes. We actually have a reseller agreement with Amex, so if you don't yet have a merchant account with Amex, we can get that set up for you. You can turn on the domain lock, access mobile payments, change your notification settings, and customize the appearance of your Business Centre. So if you've got a chance, maybe it's a little bit later, it's not a bad idea to just have a look at those different features and what you can access. The next area is the help desk area. So this is where you go if you have questions or you have an issue and you need some help from the eWAY customer care team. We've got 24/7 support, so the guys are always on hand to help out with any issues that you may have. So you can log a case, which will get action straight away. You can view response codes from the bank. So what does 00 mean? What does 05 mean? You can check with whether your system is compatible with using the Business Centre, and also access some how-to guides. So a lot of what we went through this morning, we can go through some more in-depth how-to guides at a later date. How to process manual transactions, reporting, refunds, recurring payments and token payments. So once again, if you've got a bit of time at a later date, maybe have a look at those how-to guides. They're very handy and give you a lot of information about how to use your Business Centre. We've also got the resources area, which is, I guess, a bit of an insight into eWAY and the social networking that we do. We've got a Twitter account from our CEO, Matt Bullock, so feel free to join up and follow Matt on his e-commerce travels. We've got a LinkedIn account as well, so if you're using LinkedIn, which is a great resource, definitely hook us up on that. The last area is the eWAY articles. So we do actually have a lot of news that we gather and we hear about. So this area is just general e-commerce news, not especially about eWAY, more about how the e-commerce industry is growing and what's happening in the e-commerce industry. So once again, if you've got a bit of time, that's a really good resource. You might learn a few things that can help out your online business and get a few hints and tips from other people in the industry. As I said at the start, we do have an AdWords campaign running at the moment. So we've done a deal with Google to give valid eWAY merchants a free $75 AdWords trial. So this just gives you a bit of a helping hand to get into the world of online advertising. So it gives you a bit of cash to start that whole process up. So the whole idea is if you're doing online advertising, you're going to be driving traffic to your website and hopefully converting that into sales, which would then show in your reports. So if you've got a chance, that's a really good thing to look into, and that $75 won't go amiss either. The final tab is the upgrade tab. So if at any point your transaction volumes increase to warrant the step up to the next plan, you can upgrade through this area. There's a few other features, the feedback tab. So if you've got any ideas about how we can improve the Business Center or eWAY in general, we definitely want to hear from you. If you want to access real-time assistance through our online chat, simply click the button and they'll open the chat window, and we've got the whole team on hand to help with any questions that you may have. You can also access our old Business Center, which I'll just show you quickly to show you where we've come from. So this is how the Business Center used to look, which was definitely functional. It wasn't very very appealing visually, and it was a bit of a mess as far as organisation. So I've really done a lot of work to get the Business Center a lot more organised and a lot more functional as well. So that's pretty much it for today. We've gone through all the different areas of the Business Center, looked at the reporting tools, the different payment solutions you can access, how the charts and dashboards can really help you give you some insight into your online business, changing settings within your eWAY Business Center, and accessing help as well. Now I'm going to be staying on the webinar for the next few minutes, next 15 minutes or so. I'm glad you could join me today. If you do have any questions, please use the questions tab or the chat tab. Just pop through the question and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, and appreciate your time today. Thank you.